Hello, everyone. We are halfway through August. Hope your August is going well. As always, get it up. Obligatory self promotion. What if I wrote the word poems inspired by music? Written by me, your boy. I think I've given one, two book updates. I'm almost done outlining my first 5 chapters and I'm going to start writing. So that's exciting. So it's probably going to be a while. I'm contemplating doing another poetry book in between writing the fiction, so we'll see. But anyway, we're here to rant about Saweetie and why she ain't got no album. Usually I will review the EP and then go on a rant, but I just felt like I wanted to go on a rant as the whole video. I've been wanting to do that for a while, so here we are. So, I have an introduction. I have like a whole essay. So, here we go. The musical landscape now seems to be the wild, wild west of success in marketing. Social media has been both a blessing and a curse for artists. I think artists like Saweetie have carved out I meant to say their own lane, I guess. Their own lane aesthetically. I have a typo. But she needs to be more grounded musically. 6 EPs should be enough of a start to finally release a debut album. Why hasn't she? I have some theories. So before I get into that, if you have no idea who Saweetie is, you've never heard of her, you never seen her, I'm gonna insert a picture to my editing self. We're gonna talk about her biography and her beginnings. So she was born Diamante. I hope I'm saying her name right. Uh, I'm not even gonna. I'm not even gonna butcher her middle name. Her last name was Harper. Uh, and she was born July 2nd, 1993. She's an American rapper. Her 2017 debut single "Icy Girl" received double platinum certification by the RIAA and led her to sign with Warner Records in a joint venture with then manager Max G, because I can't say his last name, record label Artistry Worldwide. Worldwide. Say that 5 times fast. Her debut, High Maintenance, came out in 2018, was met with lukewarm reception and failed to chart. Her second EP, another EP, Icy, in 2019 had moderate success, moderately into the Billboard 200, and spawned the single My Type, which marked her first entry at number 21 on the Billboard Hot 100 and received quadruple, wow, quadruple platinum. Did the other one, you said double? Yeah, that's crazy. That's good. Quadruple platinum certification by the RIAA, and her 2020 single Tap In and her 2021 single Best Friend featuring Doja Cat both peaked within the chart's top 20. And I proceeded by the release of her forthcoming debut album, Pretty Bitch Music. At the 64th Annual Grammy Awards, the latter song earned a nomination for Best Rap / Sung Performance, while Harper herself was nominated for Best New Artist. I don't know what year that is. I'm gonna assume it's probably would have been maybe 2019 when after all this. So yeah, so she's had a few entries on Billboard and she's had some success. I feel like she's been very viral a lot of times, and um I feel like the album should be out soon. But first, I'm gonna define what an EP is and its purpose, and um and talk a little bit about that and why we getting 6 and why it's too many. Okay, so an EP is intended to be an album samplers is intended to be album samplers or collections of singles, according to Wikipedia. So that's my understanding of what an EP are supposed to be. Is that it's meant to be. Oh, I have so many. I don't know what. I just have a stream of consciousness, y'all. But basically, that's my understanding of what EPs are supposed to be. That would mean we got 6 samplers from Saweetie so far. And I feel like this is not written down, but I'm gonna add to that point. If you're giving six samplers of an album, how are we gonna know what the album's gonna be like once it finally comes? And then of course there's also one-off singles that have been created in between the EPs, like Birthday, and there was one other one that came out at the same time as Birthday. Oh, it's Shot O'Clock, and they're not even in it. I don't think they're in any of the EPs, but it's like we're getting all of these, but not the album. I feel like we have enough EPs to make an album though, but she probably shouldn't do that. She should make new music, obviously, right? And then I said this reminds me of what Beyonce said about albums. How people don't make albums anymore, and they put out so many quick singles, and they burn out. They have to put out another single, and they burn out. And I feel like that's happening with Saweetie too, because like I said, the one-off singles of Shot O'Clock and Birthday, it's like, what are we leading up to? Every single is leading up to the forthcoming album. And it's been, I think when I did the math from 2008, I think I did it from 2018. That's 7 years. Oh, that's right math. Yeah, that's right math. And what are we leading up to for 7 years? Like, what's going on? I feel like two max album, maybe after the album, a few more EPs and then another album. I feel like why are we having so many EPs without an album yet? I will say, this is a whole different artist, but I'm gonna mention her. Cardi B. At least she had the two mixtapes and then her album, even though it also took her 7 years to release the second album. But and she did release singles. She didn't do any EPs, which I feel like that might have actually helped her to release some EPs in between the albums instead of just one-off singles, which some of them did end up being on the album as we saw. But it's kind of like the reverse problem with like Cardi B, like just releasing singles with nothing else in between, and then Saweetie releasing EPs and singles without the album. So they're kind of in the same boat. Where was I? Oh, I kind of mentioned this already. So many singles were supposed to be for her debut album, but they never led to it. Um, and this happens with a lot of female rappers and female R&B artists. It makes me think labels aren't willing to invest in artists like they used to. And also, this is another artist that I kind of have a gripe with, Normani. What happened? She finally released the album, and then was like, "That's it. Here y'all go." Like a "Here Damn" album, basically. Like "Here Damn, y'all can have it," and then did nothing to promote it. And I'm wondering, because I was looking at Normani, like the list of all the people on her label. Some of these people, I don't think it's a pop thing because I saw some of the artists on there. They're big. Like I think Jenny is on the from Blackpink is on there. RCA. There were like other artists on RCA that are definitely doing their thing, but they're all in the pop category, and I'm wondering what is that about? Because it seems like the female rappers and R&B girlies are kind of just out to dry from their labels, and I don't like that. Obviously because a lot of them are black, and it just kind of bugs me. And I feel like at least Saweetie is trying to promote herself at the very least. But Normani just, I don't know, because like I said, there are other artists on her label, Normani's label, they're really like doing well. So I'm kind of very curious as to like what happened with her. And we're gonna kind of talk about this later on in my rant because it does kind of seem like we've gotten away from what you were supposed to be doing in the first place. Like if you're a singer rapper, you're going into influencer territory at a certain point. We're going to talk about that later. To further my last point, I don't see the pop girls having as much hesitation to drop albums. And I think it's because, like I said in my short video, rap is a competitive genre by nature. So there's more at stake. Like a pop girly could flop, and it might be a big deal to her fans or other fans for like to hate on her. They'd be like, "Oh, my favorite artist is better than your favorite artist," like that kind of thing. But for rap, if you brag about success and skills, it's more pressure to back it up because you're actually saying in your rap, "I'm the best rapper, I'm the best this, I'm the best that," and it's probably pressure to have the sales match, because it's definitely a numbers game. I see it every day on Twitter. Oh, this person doesn't have as much platinum records, doesn't have as much record sales. It's a big thing, so I totally get that. And I think Saweetie is hesitant to really have her success put to the test with album sales because I remember when her EP, The Single Life, came out, there were sales numbers for that, which didn't really make sense to me. It's an EP. Why do we need how much an EP sold? They did the same thing with Tyler recently. I don't really get it. It's an EP. Is it supposed to be selling 100,000 copies for 4 or 5 songs? Or one of her EPs actually had 8 songs, and I was like, "Girl, that's you could add 2 more for an album for that." For Saweetie, like her, I think it was Icy. Was it Icy? Was it called Icy Girl? It might be called Icy Girl. It might be called Icy. But yeah, she had a lot of songs on there. But I did look at Wikipedia also. It's supposed to be less than 30 minutes to be an EP, so it was also less than 30 minutes. I think it was like 28 minutes or something. So like right under the cusp. But still, like if she had added 2 more songs, could have been an album. Oh, and then the source was DJ Academics, which he just seems to want to hate on women. So it was definitely with the malice intent that he like talked about her album sales because like why do we care about what an EP sells? It's an EP. It's like I said, it's probably it's not even 10 songs. You know what I mean? Or it's under 30 minutes if it is 10 songs. Like why are we analyzing the numbers for something that's not a full album? And even if it is a full album and it doesn't sell well, who cares? As long as the artist is happy with what they created, that's what matters. And I'm going to talk about that later. Actually, I keep talking about my own points before I get to them. But anyway, I'm going to talk about the reasons she gives for why her album isn't out. So I found an article in Us Weekly, and she said, "I feel like nobody was caring about my music. To me, music is sacred. It's coming from your spirit, and you can't just finish an album in a week. That's why it's taking me so long. That's why I haven't dropped an album yet." And I think at that point it had been only 3 years. I have to look at what year. I can't remember what year that article was. No, I think it was last year actually. So it was 2024. But I feel like since 2020 at least, she's been teasing that it's going to be coming out. So, but I feel like that's kind of sad. It's like this is why I have another point that I have a point that I want to make when I talk about my theories about striking while the iron is hot because now it is kind of like everything's quick, everything's going viral, everyone's going viral. There's a new artist every week. I feel like there's a new person here, a new person there. You really have to strike when the iron is hot. And then she also told Allure. This is still in the U.S. Weekly article, but it does say that she talked to Allure in the article. So she told Allure that when she released the Single Life EP in 2020, she was promised a marketing rollout that didn't happen. I feel like I was left out to dry by my label and everyone around me. There's no public support. Honestly, I internalized the situation, but I'm used to doing that. And she also mentioned in the article about insecurities about her craft and being an artist, which definitely can get in the way, which Cardi B actually talked about too, being insecure. And we're going to talk about the label too, because it's like, how are you on a major label and you're being out left to dry? This is what I'm talking about with the rap and R&B girlies, because I see the pop girlies everywhere. Okay. But anyway, let me go on to my theories of why I think my theories on the absence of her album. I think Saweetie needs a more distinct sound because style wise, she definitely stands out. She definitely has like the style down, her aesthetic. I think her being the sample female rapper isn't enough. I feel like that can't be your whole gimmick, is that you sample um, other artists. Because then that kind of just kind of seems like kind of leechy, like you just use other artists' beats and sample them, and then there's nothing really distinguishes you yourself. I know she's the icy girl and loves rich things, but she needs more to distinguish herself. I think she should have leaned into like the rich college girl kind of aesthetic. Because she was in college when she first came out, so that could have been a thing. Um, Kind of like Megan Thee Stallion. I know she's like the hot girl in Hot Girl Summer, but she was in college and she was encouraging her fans to stay in school and stuff. Um, yeah, I feel like that would have set her apart. And not that I don't like her sound or aesthetic, but it's very similar to other female rappers. So it's kind of like, you know how Barbie is the main one and she'll have like a pink and orange outfit, but then her other friends have the same outfit but just different colors. That's kind of what it feels like. So Barbie would be pink and orange, and then my sister, the black girl, would be like purple and green, and then Midge or Teresa, whoever, would be like what other colors could I think of? Like blue and yellow or something like that. So it's like the same thing but like different variants slightly, not really too distinct. Although I know she has like the West Coast thing because she's from the West Coast, but other than that, it's kind of pretty similar to other female rappers. And I watched the video, which of course I cannot find it for this video. LOL. I'm gonna have to look into my. I I tried to type in my search like Saweetie because I thought it was in the title, but I guess it's not because I'm gonna have to search for it. But I'm gonna link it down below if I find it. And it talks about how Sweetie stopped focusing on her music for a while. It actually goes into like really good depth about like what's going on with her album and like what's going on with that. What I'm talking about now. So I'm gonna definitely try to find it and we'll link it down below. Um so yeah, so she basically stopped kind of focusing on the music. She did like a McDonald's partnership where she had her own meal. She had other brand deals, which I do follow her on Instagram. She does have, and I just saw her do another partnership with like a car company. I forget what it's called, but it's like where you can rent a car or something. And it's like, girl, where's the music? I mean, she did just release music, which we're talking about now. We're not really talking about the specifically the EP, but like why there's another EP. So it kind of does seem like the music is on the back burner. I'm not saying don't get your coins because you got to get paid, but I do feel like artists are becoming influencers instead of rappers or singers, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. Like I said in my intro, social media can be a blessing and a curse because it gives an artist more visibility and exposure. However, it does kind of seem like it's up to the artist to push themselves on social media versus like the label. I don't think labels need to like work people to death like they used to do like back in the day where you were like everywhere and doing everything. You were at Good Morning America at like 6 in the morning, then you were doing this, you were doing that. Like I don't think you need to do that. But I do kind of feel like they are like a lot more hands off than they've ever been. At least for the rap and the R&B girlies, that's what I feel like. The pop girlies, I feel like they're still getting booked and busy. I still feel like that. Um, like her reasoning for why there's no debut album was like her label leaves her out to fend for herself, and like, what's the point of a label if you're gonna have to do everything anyway? You might as well just be independent, basically. But yeah, but I do understand like money wise and doing the videos you want the backing, but like you should have the backing with the promo as well. And then one last thing is I think she needed to drop when the iron was hot. Like I think I kind of mentioned with Cardi B. When Tap In was big in my type, that was the time to drop. I know she mentioned insecurities as an artist, and I totally get that. However, with how fast people are become famous on social media every day, which I kind of mentioned that earlier, you really need to strike while you're popping, because you waiting and waiting, and you have these massive hits with Tap In and what was the other song? Tap In and what did I say? My type. There we go. That was definitely the time to strike because now it's like you need to get your buzz back up again. But if you dropped when your buzz was up, you know, you would have, you at least would have had some buzz, and it would have been it would have been better for you to have your album. So, in conclusion, I think Sweetie needs to stand out more sound wise. I think she just needs to drop an album whether it sells well or not, because I don't believe in artists only being singles or EP artists, which some people did mention with like Ice Spice, for example. Like she's only a singles artist, but it's like you're not, all artists need to release albums. I don't care what genre you're in. That's just that's just a thing. I don't feel like you should just be a singles artist. That doesn't make any sense. But that's just me. Maybe I'm old school with that. Um, I think she needed to drop much sooner when she had more buzz, so then people would have cared about her album. However, she needs to use social media to her advantage and push herself as much as she can. I feel like she should. And just drop. It's been 7 years. It's been time. Cardi B is finally dropping again. So I think Saweetie needs to bite the bullet and just do it. However, the numbers come out. She just needs to be happy with whatever she puts out. And that's all that matters. I know people are going to clown you if the numbers aren't that high or the numbers aren't that good. And then another thing, like I said in my short video, you're always going to be compared to Nicki Minaj because she's been out since, I don't want to say too early 2000s, but maybe like early ish. I can't remember when she came out. Let's look, actually. Let's see. I just updated my computer, so like everything was loading when I got on. So let's see if I can even open it up. I'm gonna guess before we see it and say 2006 is when she came out. Let's see. Let's see if that's right. I have too many browsers open. Ah, 2002. Okay. So I was gonna say early 2000s, but that sounded too early, but apparently not. But yeah, that's another thing. It's like you're always gonna be compared to Nicki Minaj and how huge her numbers are. But the problem is she's been out longer and it's a different landscape. It also reminds me of like Playboy Cardi. He can be mysterious because he came out at a different time when streaming was not and social media was not as big or like as integral, I feel like. Or like you could be mysterious and not disappear and still have like fan fodder. You can't do that now because you're gonna get forgotten. Like for example, Sofago, he went viral on TikTok. I know these are male rappers, but he tried to do the mysterious thing, but people are gonna forget about you. You can't do that now. So I feel like that's kind of this like something similar to like Nicki Minaj and her numbers. She has a fan base from 2006. I mean, 2006, 2002 until now. So that's 2025, about 23 years. So that's a big head start. You're not gonna be a new artist, even though Sweetie's not a new artist because she's been out since 2018. But you're not gonna have that much like high expectations if you haven't been in the game for 23 years. You know what I mean? And same thing with like Beyonce, for example. She's been in the game for a long time since she was a child, basically. So it's harder for the new girls, especially like the new rap girls, because you're being compared not only to Nicki Minaj, which she has a huge fan base, obviously very successful, but then you're also compared to each other and what the other one's doing and what this is doing, and then with stand Twitter and stand like culture, it's very hard. But I feel like Saweetie just needs to bite the bullet and just do it. And I would be really interested to hear her make a full album and see like what the concepts would be and like what she would come up with. Yeah, so that's my rant on Sweetie. I don't know what I'm going to title it. Where's the album, Sweetie? That's what it's called in my note. Or I'm going to put Saweetie, where's the album, rant. So yeah, do you like Saweetie? Do you hate Sweetie? Let me know in the comments. Are you excited for Cardi B's album? Any other thoughts you have, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all next week.